Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Megan Leavey. And this is a true story based off of a Marine who becomes very attached to her canine partner, and they are bomb detectors in the military over in Afghanistan. And she comes home and really wants to adopt her dog, and that's the basic idea of this film. It's really broken into three very distinct parts. The pre her going off to war, like her realizing she wants to be a Marine, she gets trained, attaches this dog, then they go to war. There's that section of the film, and then there's the post war part where she's back and is trying to get the rights to adopt her dog, Rex. Now, this film was definitely an emotional film. It hit me in the feels quite a few times, and overall it was a really well done film. It wasn't like top films of the year kind of film, but it's definitely something that I would definitely suggest going out to see and getting a chance to see this film and see this very interesting story. This was directed by Gabriella Copperthwaite, and in terms of the directing, the storytelling is pretty straightforward. It's very linear. There's nothing too interesting in terms of the storytelling, but it's handled in a nice way, in a nice structured way. In terms of the pacing of this film, it wasn't like super high energy, it wasn't super slow, it was kind of somewhere in between, and it did its job. I didn't feel bored during the film, nor was I like checking the clock being like, when's this film gonna end? And in terms of the tone of this film, it balances very well with that natural kind of humor going on, and the way that a lot of soldiers in the military are going to interact with each other, and they have that Marine banter that you see in a lot of films, but it does hit on some very serious moments and dealing with PTSD and dealing with having this connection with this animal. And I've had pets my whole entire life, and I know how strong that connection can be. And this is well beyond that. This woman was saved by this dog and has this real bond with this dog, and especially because she is somebody who doesn't connect well with humans, and this dog helped her be able to open up and be able to feel, and that kind of connection is very resonant in this film. And this film does affect you on quite a level in terms of emotionally, and there are certain moments where it was pretty devastating, and you get your good like happy cry kind of moment in this film as well, along with a lot of straining of emotions throughout the film, especially towards the second and third act. Now, in terms of how they were put together, there was some action sequences in this, as there were some actual battle sequences, and the effects are really done very well, and you felt engrossed in the situation and felt like you could have been there feeling the fear and the just shakenness of what was going on around them. In terms of the cinematography, which was done by Lorenzo Santore, it was well done handheld cam. This film was done predominantly in handheld cam, and in terms of the camera work, there wasn't anything super impressive, nothing like out of the ordinary, but it was done in a very serviceable way that it fit the film, it did its job, and it wasn't distracting. There were a couple of shots that I enjoyed, using some like long takes and stuff like that, but for the most part it was pretty straightforward. In terms of them filming the action, everything was in frame, you could tell what was going on, and that was really well done. Now, getting towards the writing, there was three different screenwriters on this, and once it gets to that point, unless there was somebody who really stuck out as the predominant screenwriter, it's basically written by committee, and there's three different writers for this. The story, obviously they didn't have to come up with this, was a true story, and a very interesting and engaging story and resonant story. And in terms of the characters, you really feel for Megan Leavey, and I think she was a really interesting character. She went through quite a bit of growing throughout the film, and you feel connected to her. And in terms of other characters, you have some solid archetypes like the grizzled, no nonsense like captain that's training her, and then you have this potential love interest that she makes this really great connection with, and he's also an interesting character. And I actually liked him quite a lot. In terms of her parents, a lot of her family, her mom and her boyfriend are kind of like blah. Like they're just really over the top, just like, wow, you're bad parents kind of thing. And at first, when you finally see your dad, it feels kind of bland, but he does have some moments of shine that I actually really appreciated, and it was elevated by the performance, which I'll talk about in a minute. In terms of the dialogue, there was some real funny dialogue, and there was some impactful moments in terms of what was being said that really hit with the themes of this woman trying to find her place in the world, which I know, at least from a lot of different stories and news, a lot of soldiers have, as soldiers and Marines, have problems coming back and finding their place. She didn't have a place going in and trying to find her place, and there's some real thematic undertones of this film of really finding your place and making those connections and really fighting for what gives you purpose in life. And there's a very particular scene with her and her father that really resonates that. In terms of the music, the score was done by Mark Isham. The score wasn't super memorable, it was serviceable. They did do some nice choices of music in terms of really hitting the emotions of certain scenes and really making you feel. Didn't feel super manipulative either. There's some, like in some movies, it's like, oh, okay, this is automatically telegraphing what I should be feeling. It felt more organic, and I appreciated that. In terms of the production design and like the costume work, it was very well done. It felt like you were engrossed in this military lifestyle. Everything looked very believable, which is important. And getting to the acting, Kate Mara was fantastic. I really loved her in this film. She made little small choices that really built on her character and really brought out certain moments in the film that I really enjoyed. And I wouldn't be surprised if she got a bit of Oscar buzz out of this film. It's beginning of the summer, so it probably will get kind of lost in the shuffle later on. But Tom Felton was in this film, Draco Malfoy, and he was fine. His accent was a little distracting. It felt artificial, which was a little bothersome to me. Common was in it. He played the tough as nails, no nonsense, like captain, and he did a good job. He was believable in that role. He did what he needed to do, and I've been interested in seeing the roles that he winds up playing, because he's not an actor by, like, originally it's a musician and now is trying some acting, and with like John Wick Chapter 2, this Run All Night, these kinds of roles fit what he can do, and I think he's making some good choices with that. Ramon Rodriguez plays the love interest and the close other bomb detector Marine that works with Megan Leavey, and I thought he had a lot of charisma. I really enjoyed him a lot, and their chemistry together felt really real, and I was rooting for them in the film. Will Patton and Edie Falco play the mom and her boyfriend, and they're kind of just like, they're there. Bradley Whitford, who I knew from Billy Madison originally, and has popped up in quite a few films lately in smaller roles, including Get Out, and he's actually been doing a fantastic job, and he really got a couple of scenes to really shine in this film. He was pretty understated, and I thought he did a really good job. Overall, my closing thoughts about this film is this is an emotional, interesting, and it's a true story where you could probably guess where this is going, but it was interesting and well done enough that you want to go along for the ride. And I really enjoyed this film, and I would suggest it if you're somebody who can't handle like animal kind of stuff and you're gonna get like too emotional. might be a bit much for you. There's some moments, but overall, I thought that Megan Leavey was a good film, and I'm gonna give it a B plus.